Where did the Atlantic slave trade take place? The Atlantic slave trade, or transatlantic slave trade, took place across the Atlantic Ocean from the 15th century through to the 19th century. The vast majority of those enslaved that were transported to the New World. Many on the triangular trade route and its middle passage were West Africans from the central and western parts of the continent, sold by other Western Africans to the Western Europe slave traders, with a minority being captured directly by the slave traders in the coastal raids and brought to the Americas. How did the slave trade begin? The transatlantic slave trade began in the 15th century after the Portuguese started exploring the coast of West Africa. At first, the number of enslaved Africans taken was small. In about 1650, however, with the development of the plantations on the newly colonized Caribbean islands and American mainland, the trade grew. How did slave trade come to an end? A strong movement emerged in 18th century Britain to put an end to buying and selling of human beings. This campaign to abolish the slave trade developed alongside international events such as the French Revolution, as well as retaliation by speaking out. It had opened new maroon communities, civil unrest, and individual acts of resistance from enslaved people in British colonies. The campaign has faced a long and difficult struggle. These early activists included men such as Thomas Clarkson and George Fox, who argued that the only way to end suffering of enslaved Africans was to make the slave trade illegal by banning British ships from taking part in the trade. Those involved came together in 1787 to form this Society for Effecting the Abolishment of Slave Trade. What was the aftermath of the event? Slave trade still affects Africa to this day. More than 10 million Africans were shipped off to the Americas and Europe. A whopping 20% of those slaves died of sickness or were thrown off board for fighting off the white men. All of this affected the descendants of the slaves very badly. For example, white men and women being racist towards black people to this day. They feel threatened by them or think they are more superior than them because of past history. Not all white people are racist, but too many. This became a major problem in America. The black people were separated from the white, and they also would not have the same advantage as a white person. Modern slavery. Modern slavery is slavery that has continued even after the abolishment of slavery. An estimated 29.8 million people are in slavery in the world today. Modern slavery. Modern slavery can come in different forms. For example, this young boy is a child, but he is forced to work. The average child in Australia wouldn't have to go through this. He would go to school, grow up, and have a good job. But no, this child has to work tirelessly all day. This is a form of slavery. This is a form of abuse and should not continue, but it is modern slavery. Other forms of slavery include sweatshop workers, sex slaves, and much more.